Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Good Friday morning to you all. Hope you guys are feeling well this morning and having a great start to your day. And if you're viewing this later in the day, a great start to your weekend. Got you an update on what potentially could unfold weather-wise for your Friday across portions of the country. Severe weather threat, even an isolated tornado threat, flash flooding threat, and just this intense heat that just keeps on pumping out and affecting a lot of people. And we're all getting sick and tired of it. I know, like me, I'm ready for fall time, even though in my neck of the woods, you really don't get consistent fall weather until about late October, November. But anyways, I'm really hoping for it and ready for it. But if you guys haven't subscribed, definitely consider doing that. Like the video if you like it. Appreciate the support. I really do. If you've ever thought about joining the channel, it's just a way to support what I do monthly. And it really helps in these slow times, the members that I do have. I really appreciate you guys and appreciate people who continue to view in. Hit me up on social media. It's a great way to stay up to date. And very quickly, and I'm very active on there. It's a great way to interact with me. Definitely Twitter and Facebook are the ones that I'm a lot more active on. But also, if you guys got anything that I can pray about, please put it in the comments below. It gives me an opportunity to pray over it, and it gives others an opportunity to do so too. I certainly still have that unspoken prayer request, so y'all definitely pray for me, and I really appreciate that as we all look out for one another on this platform. So let's get rocking and rolling this morning so I can let y'all get on with y'all's Friday. Water vapor loop, as we always look at, it's almost like deja vu. And what we looked at it 24 hours ago, a complex of storms moving from Missouri into Illinois, out of Iowa also. But still got this ridge where pieces of energy just wrapping around it. And a lot of tropical moisture down here in the southeast. And in fact, a stalled frontal boundary is going to stall out. Well, you know, actually a frontal boundary is going to stall out. That doesn't make since the first thing I said. But anyways, a front is going to stall out around here in the southeast sometime this weekend. And this is actually going to bring a lot of rain to portions of the southeast. In fact, I'm going to drop a video most likely tonight talking about the potential for a lot of rain. Certain people have seen a lot of rain, and then a lot of people have missed out. I've had a lot of people voicing their concerns and just telling me how they whiffed, and then certain people have seen a lot of rain. Last night I got 2.5 inches of rain in under an hour. It was very impressive how much rain we got from that storm I dropped a video on last night. But anyways, Storm Prediction Center, pretty large, odd-looking marginal risk. It kind of starts up here in the northern plains. It goes all the way into the south-central U.S., then drapes across the entire southeast, mid-Atlantic portions of the mid-south. This slight risk right here, we need to watch out. For you folks in Lexington, Louisville, Kentucky, almost down into Nashville, watch out southern sections of Indiana and southeastern areas of Illinois, even up into Cincinnati. There is a tornado threat in this risk today, and that is why you have that slight risk, because you also have that tornado risk. But a 2% chance of a tornado, 25 miles in a given location. This could get upgraded to a 5% chance. We just don't know, but I can tell you it's an area to watch out for today. We're going to talk about this area first in this video. Wind threat is there too. You get that 15% chance of damaging winds occurring in 25 miles in a given location. That is a 15% risk of 55 or 60 mile per hour winds occurring, like I said, 25 miles in a given location. Got that severe threat up here too. Hail threat, not much of a big deal with the eastern U.S., but it will be a bigger deal up here in Montana, where the dynamics are definitely more supportive for large hail with that hatch risk. That is a 10% chance of larger hail in 2-inch diameter. You also have the excessive rainfall outlook, this slight risk. That is at least a 15% chance of flash flooding occurring in 25 miles in any given location. Flash flood guidance. That means how much rain have you seen lately, and how quickly does a flash flooding occur in this region. So I think anybody in this region right here could see flash flooding. Don't even look so much at the colors, but obviously the areas in the yellow certainly could see it, has a higher chance to see it than the areas in green, but the green is that 5% chance. So we had flash flooding here in Columbia. We've had it a couple days this week, so and we've been in the 5% risk. So it just goes to show you. Excessive heat warnings up for big cities like Nashville, Memphis, down at the Little Rock, the Quad States regions, Dallas, Fort Worth area, you know, and then you got the heat advisories in the orange. So it's going to be very hot again today, very humid. So the heat indices before the storms get cranking up will be over 110 degrees in certain areas. But you know, I don't have to tell you guys that. Y'all already know. I don't think you ever get used to the hot, humid air. Maybe out west, you folks get used to that dry heat. But down here in the southeast, I've lived in Columbia and South Carolina all my life. And I'm 30 years old, and I've still never got used to the summers. They are absolutely brutal, and I hate it. But anyways, let's take a look at Kentucky, southern Illinois, southern Indiana, areas of Ohio like Cincinnati, and then into Tennessee. So we're getting into the afternoon hours. We're getting into, well, this is about midday. We got some storms up here in Indiana, and I'll get a better look at Indiana here shortly. But what we have to watch for is, and I'm siding with the NAM. I'm going to show the NAM in this entire video. I'm not showing the HRRR model really at all, except right at the end with temperatures. The NAM has been the most aggressive model when it comes to predicting showers and storms. And the aggressive scenarios have played out each day this week. And it seems like that's always the case when you have pieces of energy riding around this ridge. So here we go. We're getting into 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, Central Time. Louisville could be getting hit really hard. Cincinnati by some strong storms. This starts knocking on the door of Lexington, Kentucky. And then you got another area of storms forming behind this. Watch out, Evansville, Indiana. Another storm starts to move in from the northwest. So there's going to be just more just ongoing rounds of storms going over the same areas. And this storm might kind of blow itself out, if you will, as it starts to enter eastern Kentucky, West Virginia, but it might not. A lot of times these models say that these storm systems weaken, but they really don't. But look at this, another round of storms starts to move in around 7, 8 p.m., and then this hits areas like Louisville again, but this might be extended a little bit further west. So areas like Paducah, Kentucky, Bowling Green, Kentucky could get more hit by this. And I know you're wondering about the tornado threat, and we'll go on and keep moving this through. Around midnight, these storms could be knocking on the door of the areas of northern Tennessee, anybody in northern Tennessee. So Nashville, Tennessee, watch out, right after midnight. A big area of showers and storms that could be strong to severe could be entering your area. But sometime today, there could be an isolated tornado threat in these kind of linear mode of storms, meaning lines of storms. Nothing's really, discrete, really isolated. But this is the dangerous parts of these storms is you can have quick spin-ups and quick hooks in these storms that can really drop a quick tornado. And a lot of times they're quick moving. So really anybody, southern Indiana, southeast Illinois, almost the entire state of Kentucky could have an isolated tornado threat today with these storms that kind of roll through. It doesn't have that look toward tornado threat where you have these dominant supercells, but kind of embedded in these lines of storms today, you could have a tornado threat. So if you're under a severe thunderstorm warning, that's dangerous as it is. But if your county today gets under a tornado warning, take it serious because it could be one of those setups where you do not see these tornadoes coming. I'm not saying there's going to be a tornado outbreak. That's not the case. But there is going to be an isolated tornado warning likely dropped today. My folks down here in the Carolinas, areas of Georgia, Virginia, a little bit later today, we're getting into the morning hours, about midday, maybe already some showers, convection ongoing in areas of eastern North Carolina and South Carolina. We'll keep this rolling. Here it is, the same kind of evolution as we've seen the last several days. These storms pop up early in the afternoon. I'm talking about Greenville, Spartanburg, Asheville, up to Hickory, Boone, Winston-Salem, all the way up to Roanoke. They pop up kind of early. And then what happens is they get an outflow boundary that a lot of times kind of blows off. We call this rain-cooled air. And what this does is it sets off more storms. And a lot of times these outflow boundaries, and I can only speak for the Carolinas, will kind of pop off these storms and then they'll flow southeastward into the Carolinas, initiating more storms. So this keeps on going. And this fires up more storms. So watch out, Columbia, South Carolina, maybe later in the evening hours, Fayetteville, North Carolina. These storms can be rather intense. This continues to go. It gets into Orangeburg, Florence. These storms could still be packing a punch all the way up into midnight, but we just don't know the true evolution of these storms. But just know there is going to be strong to severe storms all through this area, again, throughout the Carolinas, Raleigh, Richmond, things like that. So definitely be careful in the Carolinas today. Down here in Georgia too, I'm going to show a more broader look, so I'm not, meaning to leave you guys out in Atlanta, things like that. But these storms are kind of are going to evolve kind of the same way, and that's why I really like what the NAM is showing today. I really do. You compare it with some of the local weather stations here, in the southeast. Their in-house models really show kind of the same scenario with these storms developing kind of in the Piedmont and the foothills and the mountains, and then drifting southeast today and becoming outflow dominant driven storms. So it's something we got to watch for sure. But then a more broader look at the southeast, and the tropical tidbits always does kind of something weird and distorts these storms a little bit. But in general, showers and storms certainly possible deep down in Georgia today. You guys could see some severe weather. Up here in Virginia, some severe weather also. But look at these rounds of storms moving through Kentucky. Another round comes through, and we'll see if this can make it all the way into Alabama and the deep south a little bit later tonight into the morning hours of tomorrow. But the Northeast today, the only area of concern is really Maine. You guys are under a marginal risk. Maybe some isolated storms could fire up a damaging wind threat, maybe a small hail threat, heck, maybe even a isolated tornado threat up here in Maine as this little low pressure moves through. You're probably lacking low-level moisture for a tornado threat. But in general, watch out Maine. You know, you guys could see some summer storms up there in Maine today for sure. Vermont, maybe New Hampshire also as you're getting into the evening hours. So we'll watch this, and then maybe just a more band of kind of moderate to heavy rain works its way through PA, western Maryland, areas of northern West Virginia, and then, you know, eventually makes its way all the way into Washington, D.C. And one thing we'll have to watch out for, I think, overnight tonight, watch out Washington, D.C., Baltimore. Some models are showing a big flooding threat with just a lot of heavy rain showing up over your area. We might talk about that a little bit tonight, but just a heads up there in the Delmarva area for sure. Heavy rain might be possible. The south central U.S., pretty quiet weather. Not a whole lot. I know y'all guys need the rain. I don't have any good news for you guys. Maybe a severe strong storm or two in the Panhandle in Oklahoma and Texas. But other than that, really quiet out here. I know I got some followers out here in Texas, but I don't have any good news for you guys. I know Arkansas, I'm hearing, is starting to get pretty dry after y'all seen all that rain earlier in the year. You're starting to get pretty dry pretty quick. And the thing is this heat, it takes a toll on things in the south very quick. It really escalates the drought. I know I planted a ginkgo tree in my front yard, and a lot of times you don't see those trees. And by the way, I have a secondary passion, which is keeping my yard looking good, and things like that. If you follow me on social media, you see I post a lot of pictures of it. But I planted an October Glory maple and a ginkgo tree, which are big fall foliage type trees. They are beautiful in the fall. And I always try to live in a fantasy land where I live in Columbia, South Carolina, even though it's hotter than Hades, and try to plant things that are, you know, turn beautiful fall colors. I love that kind of stuff. I'm a sucker for it. But my ginkgo tree is not liking the heat. It's yellowing some of the leaves. So, you know, I'm just going to say the heat takes a toll on vegetation. Your grass gets crunchy, and these trees don't like it. So definitely keep things watered, and more importantly, take care of your animals and yourselves out there for sure. Rounds of storms certainly possible. You're already seeing it in areas of the Ohio Valley. These storms could be severe, but I really think throughout the afternoon hours and evening hours, these storms taper off, and maybe some isolated a storm or two in areas of Iowa. But in general, it quiets down a little bit more in kind of the Great Lakes region, the Wisconsin, Iowa, Minnesota. It gets a lot more quieter as you're getting later in the evening hours, as basically some more stable air really stabilizes the atmosphere and things calm down a good bit. But watch out down here in the Ohio Valley, the southern sections of Ohio Valley, the southern sections of Illinois, Indiana, Ohio. Severe weather threat is certainly possible. Then my folks up here in Montana, another round of showers and storms, which could be severe. Sorry, almost hiccuped. And that could produce large hail and damaging winds, will work its way through Montana from the southwest and then work its way southwestward to northeast through the entire state. So anybody in the state of Montana, except maybe far northwest Montana, has a chance to see severe storms today, as this is kind of could be the evolution of these storms right here. Let me move from front to back here, if that makes any sense. But just be careful today, you know. Big time rainfall totals are possible in the next 24 hours. You know, the National Weather Service likes the idea of eastern North Carolina seeing a lot of rain between now and tomorrow morning, maybe 1 to 2 inches, and then maybe 1 to 2 inches falling between this morning and throughout the overnight hours in the Ohio Valley. So be careful. You know, this isn't spot on, guys. You know, yesterday I think it showed a 17th of an inch in Columbia, South Carolina. And then my house right outside of Columbia, South Carolina, got 2.5 inches. So it just goes to show you, if these outflow boundaries pop up continuous convection over your area, you can pick up an inch of rain in 30 minutes flat, just like that, sometimes quicker. So be careful with that. Heat is going to be another issue today in Arkansas, Oklahoma, and Texas, and southern Missouri, areas of western Tennessee, Mississippi, Louisiana. Over 100 degrees in a lot of areas, high humidity. Heat index is probably going to reach over 110. Now, I know it doesn't look as hot in the Carolinas, but let me tell you, it's going to get pretty hot in the Carolinas and Georgia. The temperature is going to rise very quickly like they had the last several days, and the models are having a hard time figuring out. My house, I've hit 99 yesterday. I hit like 98 the day before, 99 the day before that, and the predicted high temperatures per the H-R model was only in the mid-90s, low to mid-90s. So it's probably going to get hotter than what these models are showing in the southeast, that's for sure. It's trying to predict where convection is going to fire up, which then cools the temperatures. But that's all I got, guys. Thank y'all for tuning in. God bless all y'all. Have a great Friday. And I should be with you guys this morning. This evening. God bless.